Hello, my name is Sumit Kumar and I am a program manager in the Visual C++ team at Microsoft. In this video, I will provide an overview of the new productivity features and capabilities of Visual Studio IDE that make it a very exciting release for all developers. I will also show some of the IDE features that are new for C++ in this release, which make writing C++ code in Visual Studio a very modern and productive experience. Let us take a look at the Visual Studio 2012. First thing you will notice is the new UI. Visual Studio 2012 has been designed with content before Chrome philosophy. We have reduced the number of lines, gradients, and colors and have modernized the UI. Users' content is differentiated by selective use of colors. IDE and Chrome become the background, so your code and the icons related to your code are visible more prominently. Another thing you will notice is the toolbar. In Visual Studio 2012, we have thoughtfully but aggressively reduced the number of commands included by default, resulting in just one row of toolbar buttons. Other commands are still available in the overflow area. This eliminates distraction and saves valuable real estate for your code. Let us take a look at the new Solution Explorer and how it improves the code navigation experience. In Visual Studio 2010, Solution Explorer was mainly used for browsing folders, files, and references. We have now pulled together the functionality of a number of other tool windows like Class View, Call Hierarchy, Navigate To, and Find All References in the Solution Explorer, resulting in an IDE experience which is less cluttered with tool windows all over the place. So now I can expand this shoppingcart.cs file and I see that there is a shopping cart class inside it. I can drill further and see that there are these members. So now we show you all the files, the classes in it, and types in it, and all the members in it. Now if I right click in the shopping cart class, I see some additional functionality. If I select scope to this, I can pivot the Solution Explorer view to just this object and its members. I can use home or back button to go back to the view we were just at. The other options, base types and derived types, give you class view functionality, and is used by is essentially the find all references functionality. We also have this new Solution Explorer view option, but more on that later. If I right click on this method, then I get the call hierarchy features. Selecting calls shows me all the methods called by this method right within the Solution Explorer, and I can continue to drill down further and further to see the chain of calls. Similarly, is used by shows me all the references of this method. One of the most important features that we have added in Solution Explorer is the ability to search for symbols, file names, projects, and folders, etc. in your solution. If I now search for store, then I get all the results that have the term store in the types or in the files. Let us now switch to the find experience in the editor, which has now been simplified. Control F now brings up the in document control window, and it shows up unobtrusively at a deterministic place in the upper right hand corner of the editor, and it does not get in your way. And all the matches in the editor are highlighted, and I can cycle through each of the occurrences by pressing enter. If I type something that has no results, the search box turns red, indicating no results without having to pop up any dialog that again gets in your way. Searching is not just limited to your code. We have added search everywhere in the IDE. One of the most handy features is this quick launch search box that helps you search for all the menu items, commands, options, and documents in the IDE. You can access this control box using global shortcut Control Q. Let us say I want to turn on the line numbers in the editor. I can just go and type line numbers in the search box, and I can get to that option very quickly. I no longer have to remember where to look for that command in Tools Options menu, or have to search for it in Bing or Google. We have also added similar search experience in other places in IDE, like Toolbox, Error List window, Reference Manager window, etc. Now I will show you a couple of new capabilities around document management. When I click on this file in Solution Explorer, and I scroll through different files, new files are opening up in this tab on the right here. And when I go to another file, the same tab is reused. This is called the preview tab. Instead of opening each of the file and cluttering the tab well, it opens the file in this temporary location. Imagine being in a debugging session when you have to go through a large number of files, but you do not need all of them open. Those files will also be open in the preview tab now. Let me now show you how you can work better with a multi-monitor setup. I have a number of these files open here, and I can multi-select these files, and I dock this window to the left to simulate a multi-mon setup. Now I can tier those multi-selected files to my second monitor here. Not only that, I can create another instance of Solution Explorer and dock it in the second monitor. So now I effectively have two instances of Visual Studio, when actually there is just one dev and process running. So we saw some of the general IDE features that work for all the languages including C++. But in this release, we have added a number of IDE features that are new for C++ and make a huge difference in the C++ IDE experience. Many of these are already available for languages like C# and VB. Let us now take a look at a C++ code file. Notice that compared to Visual Studio 2010, there are a lot more colors in the editor now. The types have teal color, parameters are in gray, macros are in purple, and so on. We now have semantic colorization in C++. This helps you understand the code faster by popping up the semantic structure of your code. There are only a few items colorized by default, but you can customize this to colorize around 20 different tokens that are exposed to you in the fonts option menu. Reference highlighting is another feature that is new for C++ in this release. Placing a cursor on a symbol highlights all the true references of that symbol, and you can navigate between those references. Let us write some C++ code now. I will type a switch statement here. As I start typing, I see IntelliSense member lists getting displayed automatically. You no longer have to manually invoke the member list. I then see switch option in the member list and I select it. The boilerplate code for switch statement gets typed automatically. If I type the enum, then the case statements get filled automatically. So now we have code snippet support for C++. You have a number of code snippets in the box for the common constructs, and you can also extend it by adding your own code snippets. I will now type code to handle the first case. So I do not know the name of the function that I have to use here. I sort of remember that there was previous and center in it. So I start typing pre-sen, and you see the member list shows me the function that I was looking for right away. And you notice that pre-sen is not a substring or a case separated string, but it still found it using the fuzzy search logic that it has. And when I type open paran, it automatically completes it for me. Let me now show you this cool new editor feature, which by the way works for all the languages. Say I want to see the checked in version of the code to see what changes I am making. I can now do that right here in the editor. I can see a side-by-side diff view without having to leave the editor. Not only that, this is a full-fledged editor. I get all the colorization and IntelliSense in this editor. And you get the same diff experience in a number of other scenarios like code review. So we just saw some of the cool new C++ features and general IDE feature that make it a very modern and productive experience for C++ developers. But one of the biggest productivity complaints in the past has been the responsiveness of the IDE. We have made a lot of improvements in this release in that regard. And the net result is the typing and editing is much more responsive. Another area we heard a lot of complaints about was the solution load experience. Now the projects in a solution load asynchronously so that you can start interacting with your code faster while the other projects are loading in the background. So to summarize, there are a lot of new features and improvements in Visual Studio 2012. All of them combined help you be way more productive with Visual Studio. I hope you will enjoy using this release of Visual Studio. Thank you.